On September 17, 2022, in Platteville, Colorado, Officer Pablo Vasquez was on routine patrol when he pulled over a pickup truck on County Road 38. The driver, 20-year-old Yoreni Rios, had reportedly been waving a gun out the window like she was in an action movie, speeding down the highway.
Come on back, get down on one knee and then the other.
Good? Keep your hands above your head.
Don't move.
What's going on? We'll explain everything in a second.
Who else is in the truck?
No one else is in the truck, sir. Can I please get my cell phone? We'll get it for you.
Don't worry about your...
What's going on? Ma'am, what's going on? I'll tell you in a second. I'm so confused. Can I take a seat? I will get your cell phone.
Yep,
Take a seat.
you heard that right. A ticking time bomb. While they searched the pickup, something was off. A train's whistle grew louder and louder, approaching fast. By the time the officers realized what was happening, it was already too late.
Time check. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Maybe a car! Stay back!
Reports later revealed she suffered a traumatic brain injury in the crash. But the real twist, she successfully sued the cities of Platteville and Fort Lupton for a jaw-dropping $8.5 million. Safe to say, those police departments now have some serious updates to make to their training manuals, starting with never park on active train tracks. If you're planning to run from the Florida Highway Patrol, maybe don't choose a giant white box truck as your getaway vehicle. Unfortunately, that memo never reached 33-year-old Brandon Baker.
Gonna turn westbound.
On the morning of August 23rd, 2022, Brandon kicked off his day with a carjacking. Whether the white truck was his first choice or a last-minute backup after Plan A fell apart, we may never know. What we do know is that before long, about a dozen Florida Highway Patrol cars were tailing this unwieldy, slow-moving truck as it weaved through Alachua County, pulling stunts that left everyone wondering what would come next.
Okay, so unit 2300 Archer. Northbound into the new Butler Plaza. Northbound 37 Boulevard.
He's really locked him in at the perfect opportunity in that plaza.
Hey, pulling into the Best Buy. Alright, he's running to the Best Buy plaza. Alright, we're back on Archer Road. I am now the lead vehicle. Oh, signal 4 into a ASO K9 facility bound Playfield. Hey, you good? You can get her into the island. I'm gonna check on this red car. Alright, we are at 35th Boulevard. Alright, I'm searching it in. I'm calling it northbound through Mendoza Boulevard on 34th Street. Trying to get up to a pit. Signal 4, and wrong way.
After a chase full of questionable decisions, Brandon was finally brought down and taken to a nearby emergency room for minor injuries. But there was no reprieve. He was promptly arrested and hit with 16 charges, including aggravated battery, grand theft, and hit and run. Reports also mentioned that he had ripped up the floorboard and damaged wires connected to the truck's camera system. When officers asked why, his response was simple: "I have problems."
Again, coming back out on the 34th Street, going back southbound on 34th.
Safe to say, those problems were nothing compared to the long list of charges and potential jail time he'd now be facing. Running from the police happens every day, but when these four crooks in Little Rock, Arkansas decided to run, they turned it into a real-life Grand Theft Auto mission. It all started like any other day in North Little Rock. An officer on patrol spotted a black Dodge Charger, the one they'd been searching for. Apparently, the driver had already eluded them several times, but today wasn't going to be one of those days. They weren't about to let him slip away again. And just like that, the chase was on. The driver floored it, hitting speeds of over 110 miles per hour, weaving in and out of traffic. Our officer was forced into risky maneuvers just to keep up, barely avoiding collisions. The pursuit continued across the Arkansas River and over the Big Dam Bridge. The sunset view might have been picturesque if it weren't for the heart-racing high-speed chase unfolding right in the middle of it. Then, the suspect took an exit and dove into residential areas, swerving between cars and even driving on the wrong side of the road. This guy wasn't worried about anyone else. He was all about getting away. Four young men bailed from the car, scattering in different directions. One of them tried to outsmart the cops by waiting for them to chase his friends before sneaking out the back. Bad move. Another officer quickly arrived, and the chase was back on. Watching this guy in blue pants trip and stumble around was almost comical. Maybe if he'd been wearing a belt, he wouldn't have gone down so easily. For the rest of the suspects, the police eventually rounded them up and slapped them with charges of felony fleeing, drug possession, and firearms possession. The driver, he got hit with a whole list of traffic violations. Lesson learned, folks. Just because you can outrun the cops in GTA doesn't mean you should try it in real life.
Keep coming! Keep coming! All right, get on the ground!
Enter Rodney Marshall from Lawrence, Kansas. On July 31st, 2022, Rodney was implicated in the tragic deaths of two men whose names were found on a snitch list inside his home.
Traveling southbound on 13th Street. Southbound house. Try to get the guy now. These are 15.
Is on South Fire in pursuit on their channel.
Yeah, we're all in it together here. Just clear the air.
Not content with the chaos he had already caused, he kidnapped his girlfriend and led police on a wild, dangerous chase through Douglas County. Dashcam footage captured Rodney's utter disregard for human life as he opened fire on officers while barreling through neighborhoods. At one point, one of his bullets struck a police cruiser, disabling it and forcing the lead officer to drop out of the pursuit. Meanwhile, another cruiser quickly caught up but wisely kept a safe distance, fully aware of just how dangerous Rodney was. The goal: deploy a spike strip before anyone else got hurt.
Keep coming! Keep coming! All right, get on the ground! Keep your hands on
And the
your
spike
side
strip
like an
was a
airplane!
hit. Rodney's car slowed down and came to a stop, setting the stage for a tense standoff with the entire Lawrence police force. In the end, Rodney was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree homicide and 6 counts of attempted first-degree homicide. Reports indicated that he was acting erratically and suffering from withdrawals at the time of the shooting. His girlfriend later revealed that he subscribed to some pretty wild conspiracy theories, even believing that aliens were out to get him. Oh, and let's not forget the bizarre detail that made this already insane story even stranger. He was wearing a Ninja Turtle costume during the entire event. February 26, 2019, started as just another day on the job for Lieutenant Edward Schillig of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. But what followed took a tragic turn. While patrolling Route 33 near the Fairfield line, Schillig spotted a 2011 Chevrolet Cruze speeding. Without hesitation, he flipped on his lights and sirens, initiating a chase in his marked police SUV. Officers ahead deployed spike strips, but the suspect, desperate to escape, didn't stop. He veered off the highway onto Hamilton Road, now completely out of control. What happened next was the most devastating mistake of his life. Due to the nature of the footage, we won't show the moment of impact, but it's enough to know that the driver struck an innocent 61-year-old man, Arthur L. Smith III, who had no idea the chase was even happening. Arthur spent months fighting for his life in the hospital, but tragically succumbed to his injuries. The driver, 16-year-old Ramadan Meridi, was quickly identified, and he wasn't alone. He had 4 passengers, all between 12 and 16 years old, whose combined ages barely exceeded the man they had struck. It was later revealed that the teens had stolen the car along with dozens of credit cards and were headed to Florida when the chase began. In juvenile court, Ramadan's passengers were sentenced to 1 year of probation, a $100 fine, and 24 hours of community service. As for Ramadan, he pleaded guilty to vehicular homicide and was sentenced to 10.5 years in prison. A tragic reminder of how one reckless decision can shatter multiple lives in an instant. On December 26, 2021, a routine patrol turned chaotic for a highway patrol officer in Escambia County, Florida. As he cruised along, a black Jeep Grand Cherokee zipped by in the opposite lane. Inside was 18-year-old Charles Davis, who decided it was time to hit the gas and make a run for it. Charles eventually ducked into a neighborhood, blowing through stop signs and veering onto the wrong side of the road. But despite his reckless driving, he couldn't shake the officer, who stayed right on his tail, preparing for a textbook pit maneuver. As Charles sped on, he found himself at a crossroads, crash head-on into another officer, or take his Jeep off-road. He managed to avoid the first pit maneuver, but he knew he wouldn't be so lucky the second time around. Turns out, Charles had an active warrant out of Alachua County for fleeing and eluding police. When officers searched the Jeep, they found a stash of narcotics and several $1,000s in cash. In the end, Charles was slapped with charges for reckless driving, fleeing, and possession of narcotics with intent to sell. A holiday surprise he definitely wasn't expecting. April 1st, 2017, Palestine, Texas, a small town about 100 miles southeast of Dallas, became the scene of one of the wildest stunts you could imagine.
Down, parking through, we're slowing down, feeling good, stop, parking through.
Meet 18-year-old Armando Vaja, a teenager who thought an April Fool's prank was best served with sirens and flashing lights. By stealing an ambulance straight from the Palestine Regional Medical Center, Armando was practically grinning the whole time. Seriously, who steals an ambulance and finds it funny?
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
In the end, Armando was charged with driving while intoxicated, reckless driving, and resisting arrest. He was held on a $115,000 bond and arraigned just a few days later. What happened next? Well, the details are fuzzy, but one thing's for sure. Hopefully, he learned his lesson and stopped stealing ambulances. On August 18th, 2024, Andre T. Hunter turned Washington Street into his personal racetrack, blasting through town in a red Dodge Ram like he was auditioning for Fast and Furious 20. Swerving through lanes, he treated traffic laws like nothing more than a mild suggestion. But the cops weren't about to let that slide. Pulling off a precision maneuver, they took out his truck, sending it rolling off the road. And what did Andre do? He strolled out like nothing happened, casually sipping a Busch beer like it was halftime at the Super Bowl. Absolute legend.
Hands! 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 Show me your hands! Crawl up here to me! Crawl up here to me! Hands up! Hands up!
Of course, his moment of glory didn't last long. Officers swooped in, slapped the cuffs on him, and sent him off to the hospital with nothing more than a sore shoulder. Now, Andre faces a laundry list of charges: driving drunk, driving on a suspended license, and, just to top it off, driving with an open beer can. Moral of the story: don't drink and drive, and definitely don't think you can outrun the law. July 18th, 2024. Trooper A. Cass spots a black four-door car flying down I-630 at 77 miles per hour. Behind the wheel is Becca Smith, and she's already got a hat trick of bad decisions. No license, no registration, no insurance. "I'll be right back," says Trooper Cass as he runs her info. Big mistake. Red lights? Ignored. Stop signs? Blasted through. Speed limit. What speed limit? She pushes past 100 miles per hour, going full action movie mode.
started 10-16.
But every movie chase has an ending, and this one comes when Trooper Cass makes a tactical move, slamming Becca's car into a guardrail. It flips, rolls into the median, and ejects the real driver, who ends up getting a one-way ride to the hospital. And once she's patched up, a warrant is waiting with her name on it. Lesson learned. When you run from the cops, things go from bad to worse, real fast. January 1st, 2021. A New Year's resolution gone wrong. Trooper Dakota Davis kicked off the new year with a bang, literally. The truck was flying down Interstate 440, hitting speeds over 115 miles per hour. Trooper Davis carefully sized up the situation, attempting to position himself for a pit maneuver. But with other drivers nearby, he had to back off and play it safe. Then, the chase ended in the most unexpected way. Here's a pro tip for anyone fleeing the police. Stop signs don't budge. The truck driver tried to blow through one, and it did some serious damage to his escape plan. Unfortunately, we never learned the driver's name or why he was running in the first place. But here's the real mystery. Why were his hazard lights on the entire time? Maybe it was his way of saying, I'm running, but I'm trying to be courteous about it. We'll never know. But if his New Year's resolution was to get arrested by the Arkansas State Police, congratulations. He nailed it. Everyone remembers their first day on the job, but for this rookie Arkansas State Trooper, his first day was a full-throttle roller coaster.
Northbound Chico from Plano.
While on routine patrol outside of Little Rock, troopers spotted a blue Dodge Charger and a black Dodge Challenger tearing through traffic at ridiculous speeds. Both cars were overtaking vehicles and weaving without signaling, classic signs of a street race about to go down. It was time for the cops to step in and break up this reckless showdown.
Oh, shoot! Oh.
Coming out on North Pizza.
Next 7-2 information.
What's their name?
You may find out or something. I got a bunch of dust up here coming up on I-30 and baseline. I'm trying to get through it. To left. Crest out, crest out.
Exit 130. Exit 130.
So they ran. Lady said they ran.
The chase continued into a residential neighborhood, making things far more dangerous. There could be kids outside, families taking a walk, innocent people who had no idea a high-speed pursuit was unfolding around them. But the driver, he didn't give a damn. That's why the police were doing everything they could to stop him as quickly as possible.
Get on the ground! You're gonna get shot! Get out! Get out! Show me your hands! Show me your hands! Give me your hands.
Not sure details now going to be open on secondary.
How many people in that car? How many people were in the car?
Secondary 2 for after details.
Huh? How many people were in the car?
How many people were in the car?
In the end, 20-year-old Jadarian Benton was arrested after police found the key fob for the stolen Challenger and a stolen gun in his pocket. As for his buddy, he got away. The official report described him as a light-skinned male with a medium build and medium-length hair tied in a ponytail. Talk about a first day on the job. This rookie cop isn't forgetting this one anytime soon. April 26, 2016. Doral, Florida. Doral, a small city about 14 miles west of downtown Miami, has seen its fair share of crime. But nothing could have prepared the Doral Police Department for what went down that day. A call came in about an active police chase tearing through Miami-Dade County. And this time, the suspect wasn't just any criminal. He was driving a stolen flatbed truck with a forklift hanging off the back like a maniac. It was something out of a bad action movie. Except this was real life, and he was showing no regard for anyone's safety. And here's the kicker. There was no way he was going to outrun the cops in that thing. So what was his plan? Make the pursuit so dangerous that the police would be forced to call it off. That certainly seemed to be his strategy. Things escalated when traffic started piling up. Seeing officers approaching from the opposite lane, the suspect swerved right, cutting through traffic like he was dodging bullets. But instead of escaping, he was headed straight into a gridlocked traffic jam, about to make things even worse. Spotting what he thought was an opening in the right lane, he tried to squeeze through. Let's just say that didn't go as planned.
107,000, getting off on the ramp, losing control, looks like he's gonna bail out. He's getting back on the extension, going northbound. Right by the entrance to the building, right by the entrance to the building.
It's a miracle he didn't cause a massive crash. According to the police report, the suspect was eventually arrested after a brief scuffle. However, the authorities never released his name or the charges he faced, leaving the public to speculate. What we do know is that he rear-ended a police car and even attempted to run over an officer earlier in the pursuit. Given everything, this wild Florida man was likely looking at some serious jail time. If there's one solid piece of advice, it's this. Don't even think about running from the Arkansas State Police. They don't care how fast you're going, they'll pit maneuver you right into the next county if necessary. The driver of a Chevy Trailblazer found that out the hard way.
We're on being at North Charlotte Road, about to go pit.
With expert timing and a firm hand, Trooper Carpenter executed a pit maneuver at 88 miles per hour, sending the suspect's vehicle spinning out of control. He turned around, fully aware that the scene wouldn't be pretty. As expected, the driver was shaken up, but fortunately, didn't suffer any life-threatening injuries. He was treated at a nearby hospital before facing the consequences. According to police, he had an outstanding misdemeanor warrant, and his reckless joyride earned him additional charges for fleeing, criminal mischief, aggravated assault, and reckless driving. Join us for our thrilling shoots if you crave more heart-pounding action and breathtaking excitement. Don't go anywhere, because we're just getting started. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned so you don't miss out on the next shocking moments coming your way soon.